once you get into the space, you find out how forgiving it is, and you just figure out what works for the residents that you have, in my opinion. What are you working on?
So I have one co-living as a duplex that I'm using a co-living strategy. Managing it by myself. Um, I just closed on a property today and I'm using it for co-living too. So I'm in the process of doing that. And one of my long-term rental is leaving at the end of April. So I'm planning on turning that to co-living.
Awesome. Yeah, it's man, it's such a powerful strategy. Are you doing it for cash flow? Are you serving a segment of the population?
I'm doing it for cash flow.
Nice. Yeah, and I'm trying to do the, affordable housing way to serve the community that I'm in Colorado. And it, I'll just be honest, nothing else cash flows besides co-living right now, where I'm at.
Definitely. Yep.
And
Yeah.
you want to help as many people, and some people kind of, oh, well, you should be a nonprofit. And it's like, yeah, that's true. But at the same time, if you're not gaining as much money as possible, you can't scale as fast as you want, no matter how dead set you are, how much you actually want it to. So it's just like, yeah, man, it's what it is. So no, I totally understand that. Where are you investing?
Philadelphia, PA.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, we have a duplex in just like coal country, trying to actually find a buyer for that one because contractor wasn't able to perform on it, and I'd like to get my PML's money back, but yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere.
Are you acquiring your properties creatively or through the traditional route?
So the answer is yes. Uh, so the last one that I bought was sub two. I actually wanted to wholesale that one to a family that couldn't get a mortgage coming up from Houston, and she wasn't able to sell her property. So I just turned this one over and kept it, even though it was a sub two. It was frankly supposed to be a wrap, and it was like, okay, well, it's working. Why not? Um, but yeah, right now it's if I can find them sub two, that's great. I have my eyes on two of them up in Denver, and then there's a couple more in Colorado Springs, Class A, Class B, that we're looking at taking down using a DSCR loan.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just closed on this one as a DSCR loan. Kind of pricey because I got to put 20% down, but I haven't been able to successfully do sub two yet. I wholesale the sub two, but I haven't done one for myself yet.
Yeah, it's this one was a three, 1.5 bath. And
Hmm.
so it was, I wanted to do co-living. I wanted to, get into what was like the box for co-living. And then when this hit, I ran the numbers as co-living, and I was like, instead of just eating holding costs, I might as well just operate this one myself. But it was not supposed to be co-living, so the numbers aren't like, out of this world. I got a PML in with it too. So I mean, it's still, I put 16,000 in there, and I'm getting 250 a month. So
Okay.
that's still, you know, I don't want to do public math. I'll embarrass myself. So,
Yeah.
even the PML is getting, over 500 bucks a month after putting in 32. And if I recall correctly, it's like a 16% until we're stabilized, and then he'll go up to a 22%. So,
So
mhm.
you say you're gonna use this as a DSCR and like get out of the PML?
No, actually, we just converted. So, um, I've been focusing on this. I've known the PML for a little bit now, and I told him, "Hey, yep, working on DSER, get you out from this thing." And he's like, "Actually, I wanted to talk to you about that. I wanted to see if I can convert to be your PM, a PMP for you." So we just formed our LLC. last week,
Wow.
and yeah, we're putting in a fourth bedroom, laundry room, and another shower, and so um, that thing will be really good here
That's
in
awesome.
about a month. Yeah.
We'll have to turn into a PMP. That's awesome. Can't ask for anything better than that, you know.
Now because he's a high income earner, so not only is he going to get that 16% return,
Right.
but the depreciation is about 1,100, 1,200 a month. So
Okay.
he'll get that as well. And then he has 50% equity in it. So in about
That's
5 years to 7 years, we should be ready to actually refinance everything. And we're looking at pretty good appreciation. It's been about 7 to 10% recently in the area. So
not bad at all. Especially when wasn't planning on keeping it as a co-living, right?
right. And I did a Get Creative episode with my TC, Jordan Hirschfeld, and did another like live Q&A on it, and it was spectacular. I'm fully convinced that once you find like the properties that do work for co-living, you will just take off. And I'm not nervous about a 10% DSCR, 9.5%, whatever. I've been seeing some 7.5. So what'd you close in on your DSCR?
7.125.
Man, that's awesome. Hmm.
10%, that's not high.
No, that's
That's standard
mhm.
around you guys?
that. I mean, that's like a little bit above conventional.
Uh-huh. Shit.
Yeah. That's what I've been hearing is the DSCRs are doing very well. Not even a full point
Uh-huh.
above conventional, and I mean, you just close out a 7.125. So it was like, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Mhm. Did you use a lender inside the community?
I had some quotes, but their points, they wanted too much in points. So no, I didn't use anyone from the community. So I've been using a traditional lender that I've been using when I purchased my primary home, and he actually gave me a good rate and whatnot. So I went with him.
Nice. Okay.
But
Yeah, because I heard.
it was a
Go ahead.
pain in the ass because like the lender so we have our LLC as like the holding company and then the subsidiary. So like they wanted everything not the way Pace taught us, you know. Like so we got it for an amenity, right? So you just sign as your holding company, but you don't sign as your individual self. And then they want us to put in that as our individual self and whatnot. So like we went back and forth with their lawyers and everything, and they wanted us to sign. And they say that, you know, like it won't be public knowledge, so it's just for the loan. So I guess I was okay with it. But that was pain in the ass. I think if I used someone in the sub two community, it would have been like an easier transaction, you know?
Yeah, that's I was just having this conversation yesterday or the day prior, and it's like I just work with people in the community because we speak the same language, we understand like the same terms, we all want generally the same thing. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just so much easier, and it's a mindset thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, and unfortunately you're driving. I was going to like pull up like how I find properties and just do one on market, but nope. I just want to
I,
chit chat.
I don't mind looking. I
Huh. Um,
think I could
so
focus and
okay, yeah, I'll do that in a little bit. I just wanted to find out more about what you have going on. Are you using pad split or traditional? It sounds
so I've
traditional.
been no, yeah. But I am using like the pass split model, right? So I kind of like I asked Chat GBT to like write my operating agreement and everything towards like using like the pass split model, and then they spit out pretty like cool stuff. And I was able, I gave it to Prime Corporate Services, and they said, yeah, it looked kind of legit. So I used that, and then I got GPT to do my like house member goals and everything too. So yeah, I just shared it with the community, just my findings, you know.
Nice. Yeah. Man, AI is doing fantastic things and definitely having people look over, making sure is pretty tight. That's good.
Hmm.
Rules. So me using traditional, I got house rules too. Do you, hmm, how to phrase the question? So are your members, are they staying long term or what kind of turnover are you seeing?
They're staying long term. They signed a year membership agreement, so
Nice.
I'm
Okay.
pretty lucky. Because I
Nice.
guess you can't beat the price, you know. Like for a room with like it's a pretty big room too. So I mean, they were down to sign for a year, and then I have no trouble yet.
Okay. Year long. Fantastic. And so with the year long, how long have you been doing the co-living?
Uh, 9 months now, so
Okay.
very new. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I've been doing it for um not even 9 months, 6 months, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, October. Yeah.
And are you is it like a membership agreement, or is it like really tenant landlord and whatnot?
No, it's still tenant landlord,
Okay.
long-term lease. The leases are written um as rent by the room leases, month to month. And we do have house rules where in the lease points to the house rules, and then the house rules point right back to the lease. So it's another addendum that they have to sign, including everything else. And then the house rules, I let them ride and do their thing until somebody comes up against a situation like, for example, there's no drinking in the common areas. And forming the household, I ask them like, hey, is this a rule that you guys want? Because when I was first standing up the house, I had a bunch of people interested in it. So the first three, they're the ones that started the house rules. I'm like, hey, what about this like no drinking thing? What do you guys think about that? And like, I know I like to have a beer or a glass of wine with dinner, and so I posited that to them and they're like, yeah, as long as people aren't getting drunk in the common areas and all that, somebody can have like a beer or something. And they talked about it. And that's like how my house rules are written is,
Hmm.
hey, these are the rules and you'll follow them unless you guys have a house meeting and you determine like, hey, this rule needs to change or we want it to change and this is how we're going to go about it. And then, obviously I have veto power in that, but generally, like as long as it's not destructive or disruptive, you know, cool. You're not going to smoke inside. Um, it's, all that stuff can happen outside. I know some people even like not outside. You cannot smoke anywhere on the
Hmm.
property. I'm like, it's a
That's a
little
little too
much.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing co-eds? Are you doing like males only? Are you doing that?
Right now it's all male in my one house. The other one is actually through a master lease where the guy is doing all the tenant facing stuff. How it's written is he's doing all the tenant facing stuff, interfacing with the nonprofits and putting actually multiple beds in rooms as well for domestic violence survivors and
Okay.
single mothers. And then I'm doing all the property, actual maintenance and everything like that. So, yeah, it takes
Is
a
that
little
is
bit of
that
pressure
is
off.
that cash flowing good? I would assume so, right?
So, because of the freeze on everything, so he got in October and he's been paying. He just paid me a half payment this month, and we
Hmm.
talked about it. And he's like, "Hey, like the funds are frozen with the charities and all this other stuff. And I said, okay, this month and next month, that's it, where we have this um like half payment and
Right.
then increasing the payment schedule because I have 25 veterans. I like to work with other people. I like partners. I like um kind of diffusing jobs across, frankly, my friends that I bring on to these projects. Like right now, I'm in a hotel room halfway across the world, and like I need assistance. I can't do it all myself. So
Right.
that's why it's great that he's doing this. But I told him like, yeah, 2 months, and then I'm sorry, I can't help you. And his heart's in a great place, but he's trying. He's
Yeah.
talking to me all the time, like, hey, this charity's not working. He's getting qualified or licensed by the state in order to bring on another protected class. I have to go back into my emails and see exactly what type of certification or licensing he's getting. Um, but it sounds like it'll be really good for him, and I suspect next month he'll be able to fully pay, and because ideally I just buy all these properties and he fills them up.
Hmm.
And then Bill, this guy is not in the community. He just started to do this by himself. And then
Wow.
Bill Welch, he just moved to Colorado Springs area, and we've been talking, and he's building relationships with veterans, um, nonprofits, charities, and those types of things. So he's developing all the tenant side, and I'm like, Bill, as soon as I get a house, I'm gonna bring you on. We're gonna, set up the things right, and as long as you keep it full of tenants, we can do all that because what I don't want is to go alone. And I also want to prop up my friends. So if like people want to do that, and instead of this mass release thing, they actually want to do like profit sharing, like let's let's establish a business together if we're
Right.
serious.
Right.
So
Hmm. That's awesome.
mhm. No, it's hopefully it was working. I got two, working on three. So
Hmm.
and then who's up in Denver? Kim Watson, she's up in Denver, and I'm finding two houses, and she used to be a social worker.
Okay.
And so she knows like all of the charities, and she knows the domestic violence survivor organizations and stuff like that. And it's like, let's get to work. Like there's plenty of opportunity. There's plenty of people needing this. So it's definitely needed. People are on wait lists.
How long you been in that sub two community?
I joined November of 22, and I floundered around trying to find what I want. I knew I wanted properties.
Hmm.
I knew I wanted to, build my wealth and have a property management company to pay myself after I retire from the military. Uh, but I was like, oh, I need a lot of money, so I'm going to start wholesaling like everybody else.
Hmm.
And I got deployed 2 months after I joined. And 4 months into the deployment, I was like, I'm getting nowhere. I don't have the time. It's, it's there. I'm not building any momentum after 12 hours, 14 hours at work. I have to like come and get yelled at by, and I was calling other people's lists. And of course, those lists has been called time and time again.
Right.
And it was just like,
Hmm.
this is not why I want to do any of this. And I'm an operations officer. I run 7 teams. Usually I can flex up to 15 teams. I've had large organizations with large operating expenses in the past 20 years. And I'm like, nah, like I need to put together a team of people that can do that, that have money, that need assistance. And so that's what I've been working on since I stopped trying to wholesale is buy and hold and form teams together. And it really took Squad Up Summit last year, meeting the right people, talking with them, how they navigated the space.
hmm It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and so are you doing solopreneur, or are you forming teams with people? Are you reaching out?
Solopreneur. So
How's it
it's a
going?
little it's hard. So I, ju-
Yep.
I so I'm new. I'm like very new. I just joined in December 24. So I'm only like 4 months in sub two. Um, it's a really great community. Um, but I also have a full-time W-2 job. So it's a little hard to like I want to expand my entrepreneurship, but I have a full-time W-2. So, you get what you can, you work a night, not nights a weekend on calling listings and whatnot.
Well, what do you want to do?
I want to get out of my W-2,
Hmm.
but I kind of make too much in my W-2. So I will have to make a really good amount of money to leave. So I'm hoping like at least 4 or 5 more years I could get to leave my W-2 once I get like in the once I know how to pitch stuff to better.
Yeah.
Because right now, like so I'm doing direct to agents, and a lot of agents are kind of being like the gatekeeper.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard.
Jonah Corchin has a good series. I think it's in the vault. And just
Okay.
talking with him, he was doing a lot of direct to agent,
hmm
and you got to build up a lot. Like I equate it to a lot of energy,
hmm
and you're just doing the activity, and it's almost like static electricity where it's building, building, building until it like discharges. And calling sellers, like you hear, uh, Jameel Damji and Pace, and Brent Daniels, they talk about like how efficient their teams are. And I think Brett Daniels has the more efficient team right now. And typically it's like 7 or 8 calls per deal that they need
hmm
to do with one person. And they're calling once a month, or so it's could take 8 months. It could take a little
Right.
bit longer in order to like get that thing down, but then it comes in batches almost. And that's when I found this one house. I had three that immediately came to me. So I'm like running around with my hair on fire because I'm like, oh, crap. I have to do all the work for this one. And then, I got to work on this one and this one because it just came after just
hmm
working diligently day after day. And, I just felt it just pour out. And then I had to put on the brakes. I'm like, all right, no more prospecting right now. I need to like actually focus and close. Because yeah, even though I have those properties and I, bring together the teams, I don't have a manager. I'm
hmm
still, it's very manual type of thing as well. So I totally get that. And agents, because they are the gatekeepers, even more so, you have to build up a lot of energy just in general with them, and you have to keep up with them. They want to
Right.
earn
Right.
money at the end of the day, and they have to do so, legally, ethically, and morally. And you have
hmm
to prove to them that they're going to do that. And then once you perform with one, they're going to start bringing you more and more.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
so yeah, eventually it'll get there with the agent
hmm
thing. Um, no, I don't want to pry too much because it sounds like you're a high income earner.
Yeah.
Um, so why real estate right now? Like what? Okay, let me put it differently. Let- I'm not going to just like walk the dog. What about becoming a PMP?
Um, Even though I'm a high income earner, my primary house is actually very costly.
Mm,
So I don't have money. Like most of my income goes to the primary property. I have 4 rentals, and I'm using that money to buy other rentals, buy and hold.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, same. I just closed on a house, a new primary in October. I had to get the old primary ready and, it just depleted what I had. And then this one, of course, you never go down. You can only go up. So this one costs
Hmm.
more than the last one. And it's just like, okay,
Yep. Yeah. So I've
well,
been
that
trying
makes
to
sense.
go the PML route, but no one wanna lend for a year or two, you know, because I want to buy and hold. So like they mostly fund fix and flip.
Hmm.
Um, I wouldn't mind doing the PMP route if I could find something like decent to hold myself. Yeah. But no, it's a little hard, putting 20% down, getting a DSCR and whatnot. It's very costly, and it's getting slow to like acquire the next one.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing is that you've already performed. You have four rentals
Hmm.
and like I put 16,000 in this last house. I got a PML and I put EMD down myself, PML
Hmm.
for the rest of the acquisition, and like minor renovations, like $1,500 worth of renovations. And then it was like, oh crap, I'm not going to wholesale this thing. I need to spend like 3,000 for a water heater, or it was 6,000 for the water heater, I think, 3,000 for something else, and it all turned out to be like $16,000.
Hmm.
And then the PML was like, okay, he's putting in his own money. Now I feel safer that
Right,
this
right.
guy isn't just, taking all of my money and the only thing he's going to lose is a house he didn't even pay for, you
Hmm.
know. So there is the possibility where you front, like 5% and then you raise the other 15, for example. People are interested in that because now I hate the phrase skin in the game. But you do, and you're showing them
Hmm.
like I'm willing to do this. And what I had also done is I showed, hey, this is how much equity I have, and I am going to get you out as my PML by refinancing a house if I can't pay you off through like a refinance of this property. So
Hmm.
just showing them that you have that potential, people are more apt to say, okay, it's safe, even if, and this was cross collateralized where I
Hmm.
had $100,000, over $100,000 in equity in a different house. And so, it was a safe bet. He would have taken two houses for the price of not even one. I mean, he spent $24,000, and he would have gotten $800,000 worth of house. So it was like,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, I
So
I don't play with other people's money. And
so how do you do
go
the
ahead.
cross canalization? Like they put a lien on your property or something?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
It was on another rental,
Hmm.
and I put 20% down on that before I knew what I was doing. I took out a HELOC. That
Right.
HELOC is still, just stabbing me in the kidney every single month. Um, Lesson learned, but I got another rental out of it. And the important thing is that rental I use as cross collateralization.
Okay.
So, um, yeah. And now that he's a PMP, I'm going to get it removed from that to open up that second position lien on there.
Hmm.
But I honestly believe it was because it's safe that he is secured in his loan, and then he saw that okay, this guy's putting in total. We put in 48,000. I put in 16. He put in 32, and this thing is cash flowing over $1,000 a month between us. You
Wow.
know, so. Yeah, he's happy, I'm happy. And I told him, if you want to give me my 16,000, you get 100% cash flow and I just take property management. He's like, nah, next one. Because it's our first one we're doing together.
Together,
And the
yeah, right.
lawyer, yeah, the lawyer's like, well, how do you want to do X, Y, and Z? And it's like, no, this is like the first date, we'll get a little bit more aggressive next time with the numbers, but no, it just worked out. And um yeah, I showed him the numbers, I showed him what I was doing, and the opportunity was there. And he just said, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I was like, oh, that was actually a lot easier than what I thought. I didn't actually have to like really ask,
Right.
you know. Um, yeah, and that's like number one thing is I'm doing this for the long haul, and my
Hmm.
W-2, we're fine. We're living, we're paying the bills at home, and my business is paying its bills. So it's kind of at a nice little balancing point. I just need to rebuild some reserves.
Right. Right.
Um, and because of that, it's like, hey, what's this? Oh, no, it's the note taker. Um, yeah, it's because of that that I can offer to get the lenders or the partners money back as fast as possible.
Hmm.
And like ideally, if I don't have so much into the property, I just take a property management fee for all the software that I use for the gas or any of that stuff. And then we have our reserve accounts and all that. And then I say, hey, you get 100%. I do know people that do like small syndications where they'll raise, half from two people or, split up whatever that 20% into a couple of different chunks, mhm, and then go
How
that
much are
way.
you paying yourself for property management?
5%.
Oh, it's still low.
Mm,
Is that
well, I
typically
mean,
what it is around you?
no, it's typically 10%, but
Hmm.
I have equity stake. Um, I don't I don't need that much right now. Now,
Hmm.
when I retire from the military in 18 months, I'll probably I'm also doing other management on the side too.
Okay.
So, like the ones that I have, my PMLs, my buddies, that are actually in partnership positions, I crank my take down just so that I can repay them and use their money again.
Hmm.
Because that's what I'm finding is that a lot of PMLs, once they find somebody who performs and they know that they're safe, they're going to stay with you. Same thing. Like I use
Wow.
one TC because I just do Colorado, so I just use Jordan. I
Hmm.
know what she does. I know my lawyer. I know my title company. There's no reason to like go out now when it comes to getting deals, because I rarely even source my own deals. Or, I'm trying to do this tenant placement thing. Um, I'll buy deals from wholesalers, but man, I'd rather partner with a wholesaler and give them cash flow and equity position because now I don't need to raise as much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just another thing because that's another thing in the community. Like there's so many opportunities that people are like out of money.
Hmm.
They're always deployed on different projects and all that other stuff, and which is fine, and they're getting great returns on it. So I don't blame them.
I think I might take your advice and do the cross correlation thing.
And it some people will do portfolio, but the more properties you add to the plate, the more
Hmm.
that somebody's going to have to do their due diligence. So if you build a packet specifically for that, where like, hey, here's the opportunity, and also here's the packet for the other house that I'm offering a cross collateralization on. So, the easier it is, the easier of a time you'll have as well.
Okay.
Hmm.
Good to
Because
know.
that's what,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, okay, you cross collateralize me onto a pile of junk. Like, great. Like, mm, yeah. Hmm. And yeah, one of my primary, because I was a connector at heart. After I tried to do wholesaling, I started to go into connecting. And
Hmm.
then after a year of that, I earned, I don't know, a couple $1,000. Nothing to write home about. I was like, man, I'm working on like everybody else's deals. I want to start working on my own. And the people that I started to reach out to were other connectors because they know tons of people. That's what they do is
Right.
they just network.
Mhm.
So, and Gator connectors too, and capital raisers. Capital raisers um, are great. So Gator connectors are great if you need like a lot of gap or you have a large project and you can bring a lot of Gators together and then get their money back very quickly. But capital raisers, they're going to events that are just like Wazoo, who is somebody went to like a crypto event and they're like
Mhm.
one of the only real estate people there because it's a crypto event. People would go to, any of those other type of um like investor where people are in the mind to make money type of events, but it's not a real estate event because you go to real estate event to meet other real estate people and other
Mhm.
real estate people are broke too.
Right. Right.
So yeah, the capital raisers that like they're a powerful bunch. Are you still driving?
Yeah, it's an hour for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
20 more minutes to driving. Yeah.
I can share my screen real quick
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you tell
yeah.
me how you like to find yours. I just use Zillow. I'll just use Zillow. Where are you looking for properties? We can do where you're looking for properties.
Philadelphia.
I don't even know how to spell Philadelphia. There we go. All right, what do I gotta do? Minimize that. All right, the first thing that I like to do is I like to see what I can rent. And then there's two types. When I'm looking for single family, there's two types of property or rooms that I kind of underwrite for.
Mhm.
And it's gonna be like a one bed. Oh, let's go studio and any. All right, let's just zoom in. Wow, Philadelphia has some rents. Any particular neighborhood you look at?
No, just everywhere, anywhere makes
Where's,
sense.
let's go Strawberry Mansion. That sounds nice. Okay, so around this area, so studio apartments are going in this area for like 850, 750, 900. This is major road, so it's probably two different types. So, okay. We can call it like 850 for a studio and then
Mhm.
one bed, let's go any. So one bed, one bath are going for 1100. Okay. So around 850 and 1100. And I also use Rentometer. I use um, apartments.com. I use all of the other type of algorithmic type of apps that I don't have to
Mhm.
pay money for, except for Rentometer. I think I pay like $100 a year. And that gives me a good idea on what I can charge for a master bedroom. That's
Mhm.
where I get the one bed, one bath. And then the studio apartment gets me the bedroom without a bath. And that's generally the nearest competitors when it comes to co-living in my mind.
Mhm.
Um, so I like large, large. And the rules that I play with, there's none in Strawberry Mansion. Okay, that's fine. The rules that I play with is three people for every one bathroom. So
Mhm.
for a 4-2, that's perfect. 5-3 is good for value add and all that. Let's see. Home type. There we go. Deselect all, house. All right, let's look at this guy. Come on, corner. Oh no, these are all row houses, aren't they? Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Um, these. Okay, this one looks promising. 5, 5. Uh, now, I'm not sure if you can see this. So as soon as I find a nice one like that, I like it on a corner. It looks like there's one or two parking spots in back,
Mhm.
but then what I don't like is this street. Oh, maybe these cars look like they're parked there. So let's go into here. And I don't even care what the inside looks like right now. I'm looking for parking. As soon as I find a nice corner lot with street parking and pretty much one parking spot per uh, unit, you can call it. Where's underneath my self view? Okay. All right. So it looks like do have it. People park there. That's fine. Good. Okay. About right here. So they have parking in front and like parking right here. This guy just needs to get his thing towed. Um, there we go. Oh, and it's brand new now. Perfect. Yeah, and this is new to what does this say? We buy houses. Do you see that? Who's buying houses in Philadelphia? 62, 67, 62. Oh my goodness. Um, but yeah, cars look good. Nice Toyota. It looked rough back in wherever that was, but as soon as the car passed and everything was gentrified a little bit, yeah, one car parking. You have one, two, three here, maybe two up front. And this is a city too, so people might be a little bit more forgiving.
Mhm.
Um, so as soon as I find, hey, there's at least five, and or a four with like maybe an extra living room, because I keep living rooms. I know like pad split, and some people are like, hey, to reduce the amount of conflict in the house, you just take
Yeah.
away the areas where people can come into contact. Um, and I like to have at least a living room where everybody has a seat, and then you can have house
Mhm.
meetings and conflict. I give them in the house rules, I give them conflict resolution steps they have to follow. And if you're in conflict and if you're not following the steps, I just throw up my hands. And it's like, if you're not going to follow the house rules to include the conflict steps, then I've got nothing for you. You said you were going to do these things, and they're
Mhm.
proven. And it's literally the simplest things.
What are
You
the
and the
steps?
person you're in contact just face to face, 5 minutes off to a side so nobody can listen and judge and all that other stuff. And you work it out for 5 minutes
Mhm.
each. Like I get 5 minutes to talk, you get 5 minutes to talk. And if you don't figure it out within 5 days, come back, figure it out. And if you can't, after that second time, you get one more person in the house to act as like a moderator, mediator. And then
Mhm.
all three of you get 5 minutes apiece. And only after that third time do you come and you get me. And I'm going to
Mhm.
uphold the lease. And somebody is probably breaking the lease, the agreements in the lease with loud music, parties, any of that stuff.
Right, right.
And I learned this from a guy who used to live in communal living, and he has dozens and dozens and dozens of these types of houses. And he's like, I have never gotten a call. And it's like in the past, uh, I think he said 18 years he's been doing it, specifically investing this way. Like, okay, all right. But
It's also.
yeah, so this one, I don't think there's a floor plan. That's unfortunate. But yeah, something like this. And you can even like maybe take this fence down and now you got two parking spots in back.
Mhm.
guaranteed parking, and then you can right now on my second house, I don't charge to use the garage. Now, I've offered everybody in the house that if they want a guaranteed parking spot, then they would have to pay for it.
Hmm.
And they've worked it out amongst themselves on who's parking where. So perfect.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, this is brand new. Um, yep, nice, nice. Mm, well, open area. This is a big old area. Okay. Nice little, oh, that is nice. Okay. Yeah, up.
Nice.
So do you outfit your common areas?
No,
Okay.
I
Yeah,
just do
that's,
one long table and like communal chairs, and that's it.
oh, this is a huge outdoor area. That's nice.
That is nice.
Yeah. So, where is my calculator? Um, so it's what, 650? Just call it 650. Yeah, 650 times point 0.2 is 130. Okay, so I outfit my common areas again. I don't want people's furniture to be wrecked because that's more conflict. I don't want people's pots and pans to be scratched because that's more conflict. I even pay for toilet paper and paper towels and cleaning supplies. I'll pay $20 a month for that stuff
Hmm.
just so that you're using all the toilet paper, and like whatever. Um, yeah, and all of my stuff I find thrifting or on like Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
I bought a 8, 10 person table for like $150 and then just cleaned it up a little bit. It was like,
Hmm.
okay. But for like this place, you're looking at like 130 is looking really good. Let's just call it 150 all in. And so let's get this description. Um, break it down by bathrooms? No. Bedrooms? No. 5 bathrooms, 4.5. Okay. I don't want to go through the pictures again. Actually digest it. There has to be at least one master. So we said it was like 1,100. And then there's 4 other bedrooms that are at least 850. I'm trying to do that public math again. So 32, 34. Let's just call it 34. So we're looking at 4,500 gross per month. Um, Times 12, 54,000. Maybe 54,000. You know what? I got my low mortgage calculator here. 650. Let's go to that. You could probably get another, let's just call it 7.5 to be safe. So you're looking at 3,500 a month PI. Mm, I don't know. It's okay.
I mean, I guess if you add additional bedrooms or whatnot, because the
Yeah.
square footage is huge. So
Yeah. And it looked like
yeah,
they're using 3 of the spaces, 2 of the spaces for living rooms, and then there was like a gym.
yeah,
It
right,
was
right.
probably on the ground floor. So that could be, 2 more spaces at
Hmm.
least. And then you have that living room that goes out onto the patio. You keep that just to keep them happy or something.
Hmm.
So you're looking at another 16, 1,700. So what is it? 45, 17 times 12. Yeah, now you're looking at 34 and you're spending How much is your insurance over there?
Well, 1,700.
Total 1700?
Mm-hmm.
So, call it 200 bucks. So you're looking at 42,000 um plus 17. And our tax is crazy in Philadelphia.
Yeah, about 6 grand.
Oh, okay. I knew I wasn't investing there for a reason. If you said it was like, 15 or $2,000, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start investing in Philadelphia. So you're looking at like, round up to $50,000. So you're looking at like $24,000 per year divided by your 150 you put in, 16% return for like this house.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and it's just like it's really friggin' if it's not on a corner, mm, even though it's a beautiful house, like sorry, if there's not a
Mm-hmm.
parking spot per potential room, I just go, nah, sorry. I would love to have it, but I'm not looking to own the entire city. I'm looking for the right ones to actually own.
Right. Right.
Mhm. And then actually diving down, there's a if you go into like the Facebook groups, are you in part of any like rent by the room Facebook groups?
No.
So I've been finding like solid what people are willing to pay when they say, "Hey, I'm willing to pay this in public." And
Right.
that's where I got like 750 in Colorado Springs. That's what I look at just as like a general comp for things because people they'll pay 750. I've been seeing a lot of people ask for like $1,000 a month,
Mm-hmm.
um, but they're asking for very specific zip codes and that. People will tell you what they're willing to pay, and then roomies.com, roomies.com.
Yep.
It's kind of like the furnish finder. Have you used it?
Yes, that's what I'm using now to get people.
Yep. Yep. I love that. Because it's not really a guessing game anymore. They're
Right.
telling
Right.
you exactly
They're
what they're
telling
willing to
you. Yep.
pay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how I do it. Are you doing pretty much the same thing where you're looking for those, or how are you
Yep.
trying to
Yep. Pretty
scope
much.
out?
Yep. The same thing. Yeah. But for me, like, so I got lucky, I guess, when I did it. I didn't care too much about parking. As long as they have two in the front, they could deal with it, you know. But now that you say that, I might take a look at like more parking and whatnot, make it more safe to get people in.
Ye-
Because
Yeah.
the one I
I
have
mean,
now,
go ahead.
there's only one guy that's actually driving. Like, five of them are actually taking public transportation or Uber or whatnot.
Yeah. Hmm. It, yeah, yeah. I mean, your product will attract people
Right, right.
and typically the right people. Had a guy from Dallas Fort Worth on a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, and he was like, "Hey, you could do all of the good screening and all that other stuff, and then sometimes you just get a turd." And
Yeah,
it was a perfect tenant coming in. The financials look great, background check look great, and like this guy is forcing the other people to leave the house because of just the way this guy is and the people he lets in and all this other stuff. And um, so I say that because yes, your product does attract your customer, but sometimes it's just unscrupulous people um, who are just looking to get over and just be horrible people at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, I look for the parking thing because I think that more so than anything else,
right.
um, leaving hair in the sink and stuff like that, that's pretty freaking annoying and you can like kind of get over that. But like I don't know exactly what these people do
Mhm.
day in and day out. I do know that some of them wake up early and some of them come home late And like I don't want somebody to park behind somebody else. And now they have to like wake somebody up who just got home from a
Right, right.
graveyard shift. And it's like, and you know, it's just one of those things. And that's kind of, I kind of turned up the almost hospitality nature of my houses, where it's like, I'm going to try and do everything for you guys that I can possibly do. And if it still doesn't work out, like we're on a month-to-month lease.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, this house, I'm putting in a fourth bedroom, and I'm not worried, but I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get a fourth parking spot. I think I'm going to like take bricks and extend the driveway for a
Okay.
third parking, and then nobody can park at like the end of the driveway because that's where
Right, 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 right.
they
Everybody get
use for
out. Yeah.
access.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I do have more of a side yard on mine, but the neighbor, and I really want wholesalers to like buy out this neighbor because there's like holes in this guy's house and he's like never home. But he parked, and I think he's working on it because he parked his trailer kind of like, I mean, it's a sliver of a yard, but I'm like, it's still part of my curb, so I can
Hmm.
have guys park there. But he parked his dang trailer like right there. And I think I'm gonna just get some moving men to just push the trailer 10 feet over so I can have guys, you know, park in front of my house. It's like, man, neighbors can ruin it. And that's another thing with parking is you can really piss off your neighbors. And now, um, was it a podcast or was, yeah, I think it was a co-living podcast I was listening to. People had like neighbors bust out people's windows, like and scratch up people's cars because they parked across the street in front of their house.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I'm looking at, you know, where can people park, I turn the camera around and see if there's a fence across the street. Because typically neighbors won't care that there's, you know, you're parked on my fence. It's when it's in front of the house that
Hmm.
neighbors typically will care.